Oh, got it. Okay, so I'll just run through this real quick because I'm sure you guys have like your own like philosophy around programming and all of that. Um, but what we do is with our clients, like we take them all through like phases of training universally, so everybody's in the same phase at the same time to make it easy on the coach. So like as opposed to doing like each client's on their own like training schedule, we're like, no, everybody comes in week one of the quarter. We're in hypertrophy. We go 4 weeks, deload, strength, deload, endurance, deload. And then we just repeat the program over again, like the next quarter. So really we've only designed like, 1 quarter worth of programming, and then it's just like evergreen and on repeat. The only exception to this is like when we get a brand new client, we take them through a 2 week like general preparedness phase, right? So like 2 weeks general preparedness phase, we're assessing them, scoring them, and then we just throw them into whatever phase that we're in globally. Okay. Um, so that's kind of like a fixed thing. And then we have clients, I don't know how you guys do it, but we have our memberships are like 2 times a week, 3 times a week, 4 times a week. So we've got clients that train anywhere from 2 to 6 times a week. And we don't want to design like separate programs for each one of those frequencies. So what we have done is we like start with 4 times a week and we just go like Monday is upper, Tuesday's lower, Thursday's upper, Friday's lower. And then in the second week, we reverse the order. So lower, upper, lower, upper. I know you're not and say like you guys, you do something similar.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so, hey, if you show up only on Mondays, you get a
Yeah.
rotation of the
Yes.
body split or the focus of the day. Yeah. So yeah, I'm nodding your head because
It,
yeah,
exactly.
I
Right.
agree with that.
So that's the way we do it. And then for our clients to train like 5 or 6 days a week, we just drop like a metabolic workout either in the middle or at the end. Um, and then for our 2 times a week, we just take like upper push, lower pull out of these two workouts and combine them into one workout. So clients that train twice a week, it's like, hey, you do an upper push, lower pull on Monday or Tuesday, and then Thursday or Friday, upper pull, lower push. And that just makes it really easy for the coach, right? Because like there's overlapping movements between the total body and like the splits here. So then it's easy for the coach on the training floor. So that's the format for our 3 times a week client. It's like we either go upper, lower, and then the following week do lower, upper, lower, or we'll do like the total body where they do a met in the middle, depending on like what the client's goals are, right? And what they're capable of. And then the way we design all of our programming is in movement patterns. So, right, so we don't look at necessarily exercises yet. We just look at movement patterns and design like our hypertrophy phase is going to follow this movement pattern sequence. Um, our strength phase is going to follow this movement pattern sequence. And we always like do like our primary movement. So, overhead press, hinge. It's super training. I don't know if you're familiar with the concept super training, but to sum it up, basically like the way we design our programming is like you do bilateral overhead and then you superset with unilateral horizontal, like push pull. For lower body, it's hip dominant, knee dominant, push pull, single leg, double leg, right? So pretty straightforward. Um, so kind of that's all like designed in the background of the app. You can take it, put the workouts together however you want, do however many phases you want, and structure them all, like customize it. But what we have done, because we design our programming this way, and everybody's doing this program essentially, what we have done is we have created what we call the movement matrix. So for every phase of training that we do, and for every single movement pattern that's on our programming, right? So everything you see it here, we've created a progression and regression scale. And so like hypertrophy phase, squat pattern, we have our base movement, and then we have 3 levels of regressions and 3 levels of progressions. And then it changes, like what the exercise is will change when we're in the strength phase versus hypertrophy versus endurance versus deload. And so because we've done this, what our like built this out in the background, what our app does, which I'll show you in a second, is it basically looks at like, okay, we're gonna have Jane Fitness doing the exact same workout the same day as Joe Fitness, but now we've assessed and scored every single movement pattern. And then what the app does is it takes this and translates it into the actual exercise that we've determined is like appropriate for that level. So it's, Jane and Joe can work out side by side, do the exact same workout to the coach, but to the client, it's like, no, this is specific to my strengths and weaknesses. And because we're doing that for like every single movement pattern on our programming, now we have like a super customized program because it's not like, oh, you're a beginner and then every single exercise we give them is a beginner. It's like, no, your squat's a beginner, but your hinge is a little more advanced. Your overhead press is super strong. And then we just break it down that way. So that's essentially how the programming's working in the background, or the concept is really like we're taking movement patterns that are global for everybody and translating them into like scaled exercises. Any questions about that? And then I'll show you the app.
Yeah, is the exercise library editable?
Oh yeah, everything is customizable. You can structure the workouts however you want. You can have as many phases as you want, length of them, all of it. You can determine the scale, right? So like our movement matrix, you can take that and say, hey, instead of, trap bar deadlift here, I want it to be a barbell deadlift. Instead of, a hinge, I want it to be a bent leg hinge. Like you can customize everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Sweet. Okay.
Go away.
Let me show you the app here. Okay. So there's really kind of like two views of the app. One is the coach's like app, and then one is the client app, right? So we take a tablet, we say, hey, this is rack one. We put it on rack one, and then it lives there for the day. And, when we basically go in here, drop a client in and hit start, then that client's workout displays on the tablet. So I'll show you what that looks like in a second. But we have our rack configuration. So for us at our facility, we do 6 clients to 1 coach. You can make it however many you want. But we just have like our client drop down list. And then what we see is the client's name. And then under we see total, like are they a total client or a performance client, and then their frequency. So if you're following like a training schedule of like, hey, today's Tuesday, we're doing lower body, the coach knows without ever like going anywhere else, this client's on total body, this client's on just lower today. So they see it there, select the client, go to the phases of training. So you can, again, you drop anything in here you want or create anything you want. We'll say we're in hypertrophy. What week of hypertrophy are we in? And then what workout is the client doing? And we'll just say performance A. And then we can click on preview, and then up's going to pop the client's workout. And then we can just go here, drop another client in, and hypertrophy week 1, performance A automatically populate because that's the last thing I dropped in there. We'll say Lindsay is a total body client. So then I can go total here, preview it, right? And then I can just kind of go through and drop my clients in into the app. So the coach has, this kind of looks like Team Builder, right? Where a coach kind of sees like each client's workout. Right now we're in preview mode. So if I click on one of these clients, I can see their workout. And then I can go in before I send it to a rack. I can go in and like hide exercises off of here so that when I display it on a client rack, those that are gray won't show. And then I can hit like start session and it'll pop up on the client's tablet, right? In here, I can adjust a client score. Phil, this is Tim.
How you doing, Phil?
So
Sorry, I just wrapped up a call, so I was just well, I was watching it, but I was talking on the phone, so I'm here.
he's
good.
here. So Tim runs the Iron Circle that Chance and Brad are in now, and he's the owner of Legacy, which is our gym, which is down the street from you guys.
One thing I think Zach might help Phil here be clear with is, and you may have said this before, but like define total A, define, performance B, how we define it versus maybe how they can create their own, or they can use the same nomenclature and vernacular as well.
Yeah. I mean, everything is pretty much customizable, right?
Okay.
Once you're in here, Phil, you can easily adjust a client's like change their score on the movement matrix. So you just click on the exercise, and then right now he's a -2. You can up the difficulty, and then it's gonna adjust in real time the exercise. So we assess and score our clients constantly, even within like a training session. So we might be like, hey, like Justin, your dumbbell chest press looks really good. We want to make it a little more difficult. So we're going to up the score, hit the check mark, and then bam, we go from dumbbell chest press to floor bench press. And then that score is just going to save for, that's a movement pattern, right? So horizontal press. And then from here, we've got the client's profile, top right corner. So you can click on that. And it's basically just has like notes, profile picture. We have date of birth, and then like their age, and then we have their client notes. So client notes we use for like talking points with our coaches. So coach knows like, hey, his wife is a client, her name's Teresa, or they're getting married in July, 2 months, whatever, right, is important to them. In your case might be like, hey, has a workout coming up with a college team or whatever. Contraindications, obviously, and then like any training notes. And then we have the badge system. So it's just fun little gamification thing that we do with our clients. And then this is their training program, right? So you've got, are they performance or total? And then what are their primary goals? Like, are they trying to lose fat? Are they trying to gain muscle? Trying to maintain performance? And then we've got training frequency, how many days a week they're coming in. And then their intensity level, which we use just like coach to coach of like, how hard should I push Justin, right? Should I make him throw up? Or is he pretty soft and I should go pretty easy on it? And then down here are all the movement patterns that we are scoring. So there's 25 movement patterns that we score, and those 25 push or like share a score with another 25 that are built into our programming. So essentially a client's getting a score in 50 categories, but we only have to score 25 of them. Making sense?
Now, explain real quick. So, two things, Phil. I think maybe this, and again, I apologize for coming on late, but like at the end of the day, we've got one coach training multiple clients. How do we make them understand that this is custom to them, like their movement patterns, their issues, their goals?
Yeah.
Now you got kids in different sports. You could easily create their goals as sport specific goals. But let's say, Joey comes in and he's been pitching the hell out of his shoulder sore. We would knock down any overhead movements, etc. And then that would cascade all of his movement patterns. So everything's regressed in real time. And it'll happen like that, like right on the screen. Then the other thing is really cool. And I could see this happening with the athletes is like their program's right there displayed on a little iPad or an Android pad right there. They almost end up coaching themselves sometimes. Like, okay, I know what's coming up, and they start going to get dumbbells or whatever. So it allows your coaches to coach better.
Mhm.
That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
And it gives the client a custom feel, like this is specific to me. And all of the movement patterns, all of the phases, that's all whatever you want to call it. And you can change everything if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I'm sure you'll have questions about. So I'll run through that real quick. Like this is really what the coach is using that you see right here, right? It's like the weight room view, and then we're displaying like the client's workout on the tablet. Um, but in the background of the app, right? So you have movements, which is basically like this is all of your main movement categories. Again, there's 25 of these. And then like under hinge, if we score a hinge like a -3, everything in this subcategory also shares a -3 score. So for us, like we have our hinge, and then we have like, okay, what's the warm up that the client's going to do for their hinge? And we call that hinge dynamic. And so under hinge dynamic, we have like all of our warm up movements. And then under hinge, we have all of our like hinge exercises. So what we've done is thought through it and thought like, okay, if a client's a -3 and they're doing like a cable RDL, then what should be like the warm up? What's an appropriate like warm up that's scaled to match the cable RDL? If we go -2 and we up the difficulty, then that prep, their movement prep will up, like get a little bit more intense as well. And then same thing with like our self-myofascial release. We have like foam roll your glutes versus trigger point your piriformis. It's like, we're not going to take a -3 and trigger point their piriformis. We're going to take a +3 and do that. So there's some logic like built into the background, but you can customize all of this. So like if you go into hinge, these are all your hinge movements. You can easily add exercises. You just click on the plus button in the top right, and then you can drop a name in, and then you can drop a YouTube like demo video in. We're in the process right now of uploading all like every movement pattern video into this. So like you get it. But if you guys have your own, you can swap the link out. But you basically like go in here, add all of your exercises. So your, like your categories that you're going to score, your subcategories that share that score. And then what you guys can do is you just go into the movement matrix. You select your phase. So we'll say for like hypertrophy, and then all of your movement patterns live in here. So you can go to hinge, and then you guys can decide like, here's the progression list that we want. We don't have trap bars. We're going to switch it to like a barbell conventional deadlift. Or you could say, you know what, like cable RDL, I don't like that. I'm going to switch it to a kettlebell pickup or whatever. And so that way you have control over what progression and regression your coaches are giving. And then all your coach does is like look at the client's symmetry, their form, the range of motion, and go, we need to back off here, or we need to like up it a little bit because the client can handle more. So questions about that?
No, I think this is cool. I mean, as far as like for the semi-private, like well, I guess my question is like, what spawned this, like for you guys? Like, what's the origin, and like where you're like, oh shoot, like there's nothing out there really doing this, or we tried this and it's not working. I don't know, like what's the kind of the background on this?
Yeah. So basically, I mean, it kind of started with a couple of things, but like number one, the first thing that Tim noticed is like our coaches were head down, like in a clipboard, trying to keep track of like what each client was supposed to be doing. If they weren't doing that, then all the clients were doing the exact same workout. So it was like one or the other, right? We either have a coach that's not engaged, not heads up, not coaching the clients because they're trying to keep track of what everybody's doing, Or the other end is we had the coach who was engaged, but now all the clients are doing the exact same workout and it's a class, it's not a training session. So that was kind of number one is that's really why we started displaying, like, the idea of let's display each client's workout on a tablet and have it customized for each client. And then the kind of other side of things was like, we knew we wanted that. Team Builder does that, right? Doesn't Team Builder do that?
Yeah.
So that exists.
Mhm.
But Team Builder doesn't have anything that's like, I can, like a movement matrix where I can control the progressions and regressions that my coaches are going to offer. So now instead of my coaches going, okay, a hinge movement is on the program, what difficulty am I going to pick? Now the coaches are doing the exact same progression or regression versus us leaving it up to the coach. And so essentially it's made our coaching staff, like, we could take a very inexperienced coach and make them an expert coach, because now they know, like, oh, I go from this regression to now this progression to this progression to this progression. And it's all like, I mean, everybody's speaking the same language. A coach doesn't have to be an exercise science, major to know, man, I'm going to nail this every time. And then most training programs out there, like, put their clients in buckets, right? They say, like, oh, these guys are all beginners.
Mhm.
These guys are somewhere in the middle. This is my advanced group. And so every single thing that they do for the whole workout is like advanced, or everything is a beginner, versus us saying, like, no, man, like, your hinge is really weak, but your overhead press is really strong. Now we're training specifically to each, like, muscle pattern, each strength and weakness of the client. So you just get to make your team like rock stars, right? I mean, that's really, without it overwhelming them, they still get to keep the engagement with the clients.
So in your facility, you have how many tablets? I know you said like 1 to 9 was the ratio. So each client's working off their own tablet.
Yeah.
Um,
So the way we're set up, and you can custom configure this. But what we have is we do 1 coach to 6 clients.
okay.
So that's how this is configured, where we have, like, coach A, and coach A is responsible for clients 1 through 6. And then like, one of our other coaches will log in, they'll go to coach B and they train in rack 7 through 12. So then we've got 12 clients going, 2 coaches running their programming separately, like in the gym, controlling those tablets.
Yeah, so we have 12 individual magnetized at per rack, and then we have 2 coaches tablets that they hold and carry around with them, and they score in real time. I think
Yeah.
one of the coolest things is when you launch the program up to client, hey, Lindsay, you're in rack 6, and she just goes over to rack 6 and her name's up there, and it's like, oh, cool. And then
Yeah. So I'll
in that
show.
conversation, you can score them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could show me the client facing.
Yep. Yep. So
And before you guys go on, what determined the 1 to 6 coach to athlete?
um
Yeah. Well, the honest truth is, we run a semi-private model. Our clients are paying us kind of a premium for attention and for,
Yeah.
like, for customer. And once I felt like 6 ended up being the max before it started feeling like classes.
Uh-huh.
Could you go 8? Could you go 12? Sure, you could. In fact, there's some gyms that charge what we're charging, and they're doing like 15 clients at the same time. So it's like a large group semi-private training combo. We were really good. When we started semi-private training 12 years ago, we started 1 to 3 and we were good. And when they went to 4, and then we went to 5, we collapsed on ourselves. We couldn't get that figured out. And then we had to go. So 6 is where it still feels custom. The coaches can still perform at a high level, can charge the rates we want, and it doesn't feel like a class. That's how we got there.
Yeah, so when a coach logs into the app, this is like the first screen that they see. And basically all they're doing here is designating a tablet like, hey, this tablet's going to live at rack 1. So they just set up the tablets, like they log in, they set up the tablet. So I'm going to click rack 1 here. And then this is just like a wait screen. And it's just waiting for a workout to be sent to the rack. And so what I'll do is like, I'm on my coach's tablet over here that I can't share the screen of, but like, I'm going to drop a client in here and then I'm going to hit start. And then up pops the client's workout on the tablet. So you can see Tim has a really strong floor bench press, 500 pounds right there.
Yeah.
But no, this is what the client sees on their tablet. So they've got their name, they've got their badge, right? That we use. For some gyms, their badge is just like their own icon. So, you know, it might, like for us, it might say legacy, but we have like a point system for our clients. Client can scroll and see their scores, like all of their movement patterns. And then they see their exercises, right? So if I'm on the coach's tablet over here and I change a score and I update it, immediately this updates. So I just went from floor bench press to barbell bench press. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. What about, can you hide blocks in real time?
Yeah, you can hide, not once I start a session, when I'm in that preview mode that I showed you, Phil.
Okay.
Then if I had hid something on here, it wouldn't pop up on this tablet, right? The client wouldn't see it.
What if we should talk to developers about being like, here's kind of where my head's at. It's like all clients are in whatever dynamic warm up right now, and you just keep that, everything else is hidden, and then in real time, all right, guys, we're moving into block 1, and you just unhide everybody, and now they got that, and then they get the next thing and the next thing. I mean, just
we could,
thinking
right?
out.
We could like move them sequentially through it.
Yeah, or just show them the thing they're working on and then hide that and show them the next thing.
Yeah. So, Phil, there's like those little camera icons. So those are basically like exercises that have videos.
Uh-huh.
And it's just like a quick little like embed that pops up that demos the exercise.
So are your coaches demoing at all or just when necessary?
We pretty like we're training the clients. The app's not training the clients, right?
Yeah.
So the nice thing is like you have clients that are super dialed in and they like look at they either don't even need a video. They're just like, oh man, I'm doing bench press. I'm going to go set up for it, which gives us as a coach, like more time to spend with the needier client. Right? So he needs more coaching. And then we've got some clients already. There's only like a handful of videos we've even added and they're clicking on it. They're like, oh, I know what this is. And they go like start setting up. So it just makes it easy for the coach, right? But really the reason we added the videos or are starting to add the videos is actually for the coaches. It's not for so much for the clients. Like the clients get it, but there's 50 different names for every exercise, right? So you bring a new coach on and they don't know what HKMB lateral throw is. Now your coach can click on a video and be like, oh, I know exactly what this is, or an intern or whatever. And now they're doing it. So, that's that. Right now, the way we have been doing our weight tracking is like, this is what it looks like. So, client would just go in here and basically do like, oh, I did 50 pounds and then like drop it. And then it just shows the coach on the right side, like, hey, I did 50 pounds. So we're going to change this feature a little bit. I just got off the phone with the developers like an hour ago. What we're going to do is we're going to make this box where you can add, it'll show like set 1, and then you put in reps and the weight. And then there'll be a little plus button. You can add set 2, set 3, set 4, set 5. Because right now, all of the weight is getting logged, but we don't show it anywhere. So what we're going to do is allow either a coach and or a client to actually click on like barbell bench press. And then up is going to pop like the date, the phase, set 1. 10 reps, 155 pounds. Set 2. So they'll see it all just by clicking on the exercise. And so every exercise will have like a weight log.
That feature is the thing I felt like we were lacking pretty bad on. So I'm glad we're attacking it now.
Yeah.
So you're getting the Phil. This is like fresh off the press here, brother. This is real time.
Well, talking to Chance, he comes on to me Monday. He's like, "Here, read this.
Yeah.
Have a book report to me by end of day."
Yeah.
So yeah, he was he's always looking at new things and kind of checking out what's
Well, I
out
think
there.
from your guys, we had a great, like, we haven't done our kickoff call, but we had a great like pre-joining call about your biggest, I guess, one of your biggest advantages in the market. You need to have a deliverable product that nobody can get anywhere else, and having something like this is one of the things. The other thing I really like that you guys are doing is like that Madden score on these kids.
Yeah.
You know, because two things, obviously they like video games and stuff, but what I'm really going to push him into is like, you need to have Redline as the official, athlete scoring facility for Max Preps and these other like recruiting sites, and then maybe have Mel Kiper fucking put his stamp of approval on there.
Right.
Because then you beat everybody, you beat all competition.
Mm-hmm.
They have to go to Redline to get this. So something to think about.
Yeah, man. Well, very cool. I know I had a couple questions. Let me see if I can find them now. So you said the videos. So okay, so you were talking about the data input and the weight. So if I was to do, barbell bench the following week or different workout, is the history there?
Yeah, so that's what we're gonna add, because right now the way we designed this for us initially, right? So what we wanted is like, I've got a coach that's going to train Tim and has never trained Tim before. Tim always works with me. So then they go to that coach and the coach is like, I have no idea what weight you use. So we were like, well, if we just have like a single weight on there, like an overwrite, hey, the max I've ever done for this phase is 135 for 12 reps. Like, then the coach doesn't have to guess.
Right.
You just see that and they're like, okay, we're going to start at 135 pounds.
Yeah.
So that's how we built it in originally. But like, we're going to have it out in like 2 weeks where a client now and a coach clicks on barbell bench press, and then it shows like every date that they've logged that, what phase they were in, and then all of their sets and reps that they did for that. So it'll be like a full log that the coach can easily just click on, view it, and they know, here's what we're doing for, our first set, second set, third set, etc.
And are you guys like tracking, like the ability to track time of things, like let's say not just weight metrics, but and I'm just going to semi-private world a little bit, like say I held a max plank or a plank for a certain amount of time, like is there a way to record that at all?
The weight is not like numerical. It can be text or like numbers. So you could put, like, somebody asked me about like green band versus blue band, right? You can put green for it. If it's a timed thing, you should be able to just put in like, 1 minute, 1.0. Shouldn't.
All right.
Is there a call, like, can you do like 1:30 or something?
Yeah, because it's just text based. It's just,
okay, so it's
like,
text.
so hold the wall sit for, whatever max time, and it's 3 minutes.
Sweet.
Yeah.
What have you noticed, like, as far as the engagement with your clients, like since you launched this versus whatever you were doing before? Like, what has the reception been like? What's the also like onboarding to teach the clients how to use it? Tell me, like, what's worked, maybe where did you guys have some like little hiccups here and there, like?
Yeah, so I mean, for forever we just used like clipboards, right? Clipboards with the programming on it. And And so when we told everybody, hey, we're launching this, we're going to display everybody's workout on the rack.
Yeah.
It didn't matter that it's like we had been doing this on like in the background forever, right?
Uh-huh.
Now the clients were like, you're not going to train us anymore. We're not going to get like, you know, like the coach is just going to be standing there and I'm going to work off the tablet. We're like, no, guys, like the tablet is going to make us so much more organized. So there was like a lot of concern amongst our clients of like, I like the coach coaching me. And we're like, that's good because this is designed to help with that. So at first they were nervous about it. Now that we have it, like it's a game changer for our coaches. Like I don't train very much unless like one of our trainers is out sick or whatever and I'm stepping in. I can be so rusty and I can walk out there and train 7 clients like it's nothing. Like I'll be scheduled for 6. Last time Brandy, one of our coaches was out of town, I had 6 clients on the schedule. A lady showed up, had screwed up her schedule. She's like, well, can you take me? I'm like, yeah, no problem. Here's your rack. And they just go over and they just like look at it and they start setting up their weights and everything. So I'm just standing in the background going like, hey, you know, flatten out your back, squeeze your shoulders, like, you know, and just like coaching them. And so I don't think like for our coaching staff, we could never go back to not having this because it's made their job really easy. And then for our clients, really like the key thing is I tell the clients, hey, we're going to score you in 50 categories. We're going to customize your workout. If it's not displayed for them to actually see, it's like, does it matter to them? Does it really like differentiate us and set us apart? Or are they thinking like the trainer down the street can do this? It's like, no, the trainer down the street doesn't have this. Now you know it and it's reinforced every time you come into the gym. So it's like I pitch it to them, hey, we're going to score you. We got the movement matrix. We're mapping your body. We're going to create this custom program. I say that, and then all we do is train them and they never see it. There's like a disconnect. They come in and they see it displayed on a tablet and their workout looks different than the person next to them. Now all of a sudden they're going, whoa, like this is really like something special.
And the visibility of workouts, how far is that out? Or it's like day of the client, or it's when you populate it as the coach, right? Or how does that work? As far
Yeah.
as I'm tracking correctly.
Yeah. So here, I'll show you on the tablet.
Because they don't have access to the workout outside of the
No,
facility.
no, we set this
Yeah.
up intentionally so it's like you can only get this when you come to our facility. Like you gotta be here to get it, right? So this is like the coach's weight room. And so I'll just end all the workouts here. But like right now, the tablet's just like on a weight screen. It's just saying waiting for your session to start. I go in, drop a client in there. Then when I hit start, that's when it's going to pop up on the tablet for the client to actually see, right? So once I get here, then the client's going to see it.
So what's interesting, and Zach, you can chime in here, is like all of your workouts for Infinity are already written. They're just like the combination of what goes where and on each program. It's basically a pile of exercises that lives in the database. Then based on the criteria of the phase you're in, and then it populates the workout right there. So essentially, it's you've solved forever. It's gone. Like there's programming.
Yeah, and that's pretty. You know, like I'm sure you guys, you have your programming philosophy, like you put your workouts together a certain way, probably not that different than how we do ours. But you also like want to make it your own.
Right.
So we have in here, you have your phases. So you can make whatever phases of training you want. And then you would go phase and then your weeks, like how long is this phase going to be? You can make this 20 weeks if you wanted or whatever. And then once you have that, like that's what's popping up here, like my phases. And then the like week 1, right? And then we have our workout list here. You can call the workouts whatever you want. If you don't want to designate them performance total, you just go into your workouts, rename these, create whatever you can call it, the Extreme X Monday or something.
Yeah.
And then you have like inside the app, there's a workout builder. So you just go to your phase, what week you're in, and then whatever the name of your workout is. And you can create these workouts. You can change movement patterns. You can adjust like what movement pattern goes where.
Mhm.
If you're going to make like a ton of changes to this and like build your own programming, there's a browser version of this that looks like
Yeah.
an Excel sheet.
Yeah.
Which if you're gonna like make a ton of changes, you'll want to use the Excel sheet versus doing it on the tablet, right?
Mhm.
So I'll show you that. Let me stop sharing here. Sorry, I got 2 tablets going and my computer
Desktop, yeah, desktop.
and my desktop.
Good, man.
I'm glad you got the tablet thing figured out.
Yeah.
Screen
So-
share and stuff.
This is like the Excel view,
Yeah.
right? So and I've got every gym's programming on here, but this would be like you can filter I just want to look at my hypertrophy phase week
Mhm.
1, and then you just go in and make changes to this. So now I'm just working with my hypertrophy, so you can filter it and adjust that way.
So Phil, how do you guys program for your athletes? Is it by sport? Is it phased? What does it look
No,
like?
it's phased and it's similar. We'll do the global approach, and we have different levels, depending on the caliber of the athlete that we're working with. I would say the higher level athletes, or more advanced, like training age and experience, those workouts can get a little bit more specific, individualized, rather than, hey, we have this 8-year-old coming into the facility, just needs like GPP style, like level 1 for, it could be months, it can be weeks, it can be probably years for a lot of these athletes. And then of course we have the past that phase, and then in between, and then, like I said, advanced. So yeah, as far as the workout, I guess, periodization, it's similar. It's a 12-week cycle, and then we just
Mhm.
rotate and repeat. And wherever athlete onboards, and wherever the classes or sorry, let me backtrack. Wherever we're at on our global start of our program, and we have a new member, they'll just jump into wherever we're at. Now, the level that they begin at is, depending, we're going to meet them where they're at, because we might have athletes that already have some training experience or coming from a different facility, or like have no training experience at all. So we meet them where they're at, and then progress them throughout the tenure of their membership.
Yeah, that's exactly how this would work for you then, because your scoring system, when somebody comes in, they could be all -3s on every movement pattern,
Mhm.
and then accelerate them as the coaches see it, right? And so
Yeah.
the advancement, it just happens with the scores.
Mhm.
Right, but they might stay in GPP phase,
Yeah.
right? But they're like getting more advanced with their movements
Yeah.
for GPP, and then you move them into a different
Mhm.
phase.
Like what we had an option, like we were dabbling with putting every client's program on a big TV screen and having little blocks for each one and stuff.
Yeah.
How many athletes do you train at one time? I bet you it's like
Up to, shoot, we cap out at 18, but we've been going over that here next door a little bit on occasions. But shoot, it can be upwards up to 22, 25 athletes at once.
and now you got 20 tablets, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Mhm.
I mean, there's also station centric version. Like we were trying to come up with, I mean, it's designed for semi-private, but absolutely could be used for any model. It's just how can we make that happen? So
Mhm.
The programming is the easy part, it's the displays. Like we can
Yeah.
solve that, you know?
How do you guys display it now? Is it on TVs?
It's
Or
we're
white?
headed that way. Right now, it's whiteboard.
Okay.
Uh, it just if you guys have talked to Brad, he recently took over like as a few months back. So we're slowly changing things around, but we're planning on displaying that on monitors.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, we never did. We talked about it. Tim and I talked about it when we first launched this, doing blocks, like tiles on a TV. And we didn't do it because we thought it felt like too group training because we do semi-private, right? Um, but we did talk to the developers at the time, like, how do we do this? So I know it's an option. Um, that we, if you guys have 25
Well,
going,
I'm kind of thinking like if I remember when I trained, and we went into the gym and we all kind of had our programs that were like on a wall. It was weird. Like it was all percentage based and we would write our shit down and do our own thing. But like essentially you could have like four TVs next to each other and then the athlete, well, it doesn't help the coach would have it in their hand, I guess. Let's say the athlete could go see their workouts and kind of move at their own like or whatever, and they can get set up too. But I'm trying to think how the
or
coaches would manage that.
we could do it, Tim, too, like for that large of a group where they share tablets. I could talk to the dev team about that, like where they could, maybe toggle back and forth between.
There you
So if
go.
they're sharing a rack, I don't know how you guys do it, but like if you're doing it in a rack, right? You anchor one tablet to a rack and you've got four athletes working out of one rack. You could set it up that way too.
Yeah, like rack 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D. They're all in rack one. It's just client D.
Yeah, because
Okay.
on a team builder, you're able to display it in fours, so you can have four athlete workouts on one tablet or on a
But do they
monitor.
scroll? Do they scroll individually within
Yeah,
that? Like,
you can scroll through them.
yeah, within the window, like the top right one, you can scroll by itself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Those are iframes, so you get 4 iframes on that version. Is that what you guys are using right now? Team Builder?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
We
that's
looked
what.
at it because
Yeah.
we built it because it didn't solve our problem.
Uh-huh.
We built our own because of it. Yeah. I was like,
Uh-huh.
I heard of Team Builder. Okay.
Yeah, Team Builder was like the one that we thought, because we looked at a bunch of different softwares, training
Yeah.
softwares, and Team Builder was the one that was like the closest, but it still just didn't, you still have to design all the programming and have everybody do it. Was just messy.
Mhm.
We're like, it's gonna be too complicated for a coach to run efficiently.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Um,
Other questions?
I guess like what is and are you guys selling this? Is it a subscription service? Like what are we looking at here? Have we decided on that?
Yeah, it's we're given the Iron Circle, like what Brad just signed up for. You get 4 free months of this thing
Uh-huh.
and you can adopt it, look at, that's kind of my gift to everybody that signed up. Like
Okay.
get it in there, use it. If you like it, cool. But our normal subscription is $415 a month.
Okay.
But 4 months to just use it, leverage it, build it out, play with it, whatever.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
not sure.
I'll connect with Brad and play around with it.
Okay.
So
Yeah, so with Team
that'd be
Builder,
good.
you guys right now, are you actually displaying the workouts for everybody? Or are you just using like just a master, like just a coach's tablet to,
Yeah, right now it's the coach's tablet
okay,
or like certain athletes like they'll have access to it like on their mobile device, or they can share the tablet
yeah,
and flip through it.
okay,
Uh, but yeah, as far as displays, we want to display it here soon, but we just got to put up the monitors and get that going.
yeah, okay. Yeah, because we've got some gyms that just use like the coach's tablet just to run everybody's training. But I feel like, it's the kind of next level to have it displayed for the clients, because then they see it and there's more engagement from them, more value to them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. It feels more special.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool, guys. I appreciate you taking the time and answering my questions.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, let me circle with Brad and get my hands dirty with the platform a little bit and get back to you guys.
Yeah, dude. I can get it to you, and then you can, put you on. You have 4 months, and
For that. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I do we'll like white label it for you. So I've got, some stuff I got to get from you, like as far as colors and branding and all of that. And then we can upload your clients into it, and I can do an onboarding call with you and your team or whatever. So that way you can get up and running with it.
Cool.
Sweet,
All
man.
right. Yeah, you have my email. Shoot me some information, what you need, and we'll reconnect.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you guys.
Yep, later.
Everybody, take